Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of The Rinse. Brad won't be with us tonight. He's at the fish show at Deer Creek. So John Schmitz will be sitting in for him, and we've got our evil counterpart, Mark Small, waiting in the background. Bring him on up. Bring him on up, man. I think today we're going to do a little bit of talking about guns. Mark, you like guns, don't you?
No, I do not. I do not.
Okay.
Guns serve a very limited function on things, and I really think they do a lot more harm than they do good. But that's my attitude toward them.
And you know what? I respect your opinion, regardless of whether or not I agree with it. And I would fight to the death for your right to express your opinion, even though I don't agree with it.
Would you do that with a gun or a pitchfork or what?
Chances are I wouldn't need a gun.
There you go. That's well, it's just
but let me end that with a caveat. It is my right to own as many guns as I see fit, provided I am responsible and accountable for them.
Well, and that's a good point. So let's look at that. Like, if you're gonna be responsible for them, accountable for them, if you're negligent in the way you have them stored, should you be liable in damages if someone's hurt? Okay.
Yes.
So should gun owners in the United States be required to carry insurance like people do for cars?
People don't have to carry car insurance in Alabama, so no, I don't think so.
Okay.
You can be sued. You can be sued. You can be sued. So yeah, true. No, I don't believe you should have to carry insurance on guns. Absolutely not.
But Drew, if those people are harmed, though, I mean, and if you look at the numbers and the stats, and you have to understand, there were people who would be harmed by the guns. So you consider and say, well, if they're good owners, no, it's going to happen. They're human. So yeah, we have those losses and those injuries out there. Who's going to pick up the slack of taking care of those injuries of people because of negligent gun ownership? Should I have to, or should the negligent gun owner? I can sue them, but if they don't have any money, that's not going to do any good if I'm missing an arm or a leg.
I mean, pretty much they'll probably be put on the tax dollar like all the illegal immigrants that are already here. So
no. Don't
comparing that.
We're dealing with this problem, and that's opening a different can of worms.
Okay. I think that most of the time, people that get shot, and there's a very slim portion, are involved in some sort of shady behavior, and you get what you get. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. All I know is you want to blame the guns for it, but every single one of mine has never lifted a finger, it's never harmed a person, never harmed anybody. Torn up a bunch of paper targets though. But yeah. If one of my guns is used irresponsibly, I am responsible for it. Now, I would be all for putting a minimum sentence on anyone that uses a gun in a crime. Say, if you even use a gun, flash a gun, whatever, in a crime, that's an automatic 10-year enhancement. Because, if you want to do that, you don't punish the innocent, responsible gun owner for the stupidity of a few. You punish the hell out of the stupid.
Okay, well, let's go back, though. I'm not talking about the person who's committing a crime. I'm talking about the good, law-abiding gun owner who's being stupid with a gun, and somebody grabs it, or the stats show it.
That's an oxymoron. If they were a good, responsible gun owner, they wouldn't be stupid with a gun. That's an easy one, Mark.
Oh,
then they're held accountable for it. Don't roll your eyes at me.
No, wait. If you're gonna look at the statistics, over half of the people who die from gunshot wounds in the United States are suicides. Now, how many of those people obtain those firearms because someone?
That's not my problem. That's not my problem.
Can I finish my quick question?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Well, what if you got a kid and his buddy are over one afternoon? You don't have your guns in a gun safe or something. Your kid's buddy pulls gun out and blows his head off. Now that's somebody who has done something, that
Mhm.
gained access to a gun. And I know
Yes.
gun owners will say, why should I have my gun in a gun safe if I can't get at it if I have to defend myself? So should you face damages because of what happened to that kid?
Yes.
Okay, then why shouldn't you carry insurance? Because I'm telling you, after 3 kids kill themselves in your place or 2 people get hurt,
Well,
you're
if
not going to
3
have any
kids.
main assets.
Okay, so first of all, if 3 kids kill yourself in your place because of your irresponsible gun ownership, maybe you shouldn't be owning guns. All right. Now, most of these accidents that you're hearing about are because of people who are negligent in the way they store their firearms. That's their fault. That has no bearing on my right to own as many firearms as I see fit, as long as I am responsible and accountable for them.
I understand, but see, like saying, as many as you see fit, as long as you're responsible and accountable. Well,
Yes, sir.
okay, people make mistakes. That's called negligence. You
Yes.
breach a duty of care. That doesn't mean you violated the law. It means
Right.
you just messed up on something. It happens
Okay.
all the time. Okay, so like if you have as many guns as you care to have,
Mhm.
well, and you only have so much in assets, well, how is that being accountable and responsible? I mean, you might be responsible and try to, but if
Yeah.
you're not accountable because nobody can sue you to be repaired in their injuries.
Then
And that's
then
not saying insurance.
then that's when you garnish my wages, bro. But I'm telling you, I am responsible and accountable for my, maybe you know what there I'm sure there are I'm sure there are insurance policies that someone can voluntarily get
Mm-hmm.
for their gun ownership. I don't need one. I don't need one because I'm a responsible gun owner. Bottom line, that's it.
Have you ever made a mistake driving?
Yes, I have insurance.
But I'll say now, that's kind of my point. People make mistakes with guns too. And you're putting the risk of loss on the people who don't own guns when somebody messes up. I mean, over 40,000 people a year die from gunshot wounds. I mean, whether it's self-inflicted, accidental, or somebody shoots them, and it's a homicide. So we have a lot of loss on that. And so when you look at how many guns, now let me go on another question for you, because you're talking about the number of guns to own. When people came up, when they started writing the Second Amendment, what became the Second Amendment, they really weren't saying you had a right to commit insurrection. You realize that? I mean,
don't even bring January 6th into here.
I wasn't
because
yet.
That's where you were going, Mark. That's a completely different episode. That's a completely different episode. Don't.
Well, then let's go back to when we look at a challenge to tyranny, because a lot of people say, I need my gun to challenge tyranny. A lot of times they'll talk about, well, guns are why we're free. And that's something, do you view that as something you can use to fight tyranny?
What?
Firearm. Yeah.
Well, I highly doubt that that's ever going to come to fruition, but yes.
Okay. So, and I'm just trying to get, you don't have to have a reason to have all those guns if it's your right to have them.
I have to have a reason. It's called want. I want to have them.
So that's something kind of like separate as a part of the nature of a gun that you could just have as an aesthetic thing. It doesn't have to be related to any kind of function other than that.
They're fun to shoot, dude.
Okay. And so you're taking pleasure and fun. And I'm trying to find where that figures in as a right that's sounding in the Constitution. I mean, because I know that people will say, well, you have a right to self-defense, okay? And you're talking about aesthetics. Okay, you're talking about aesthetics just because of the nature of having a gun. Well, so put self-defense aside, and you've got, okay, you don't compete in Olympic competitions or national competitions, do you? I mean, that's cool, but do you?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, and that leaves kind of like fighting tyranny. Those three aside, which I think you'd find two of those, the self-defense and the tyranny, that people are arguing from way back. I didn't see anything coming in as far as aesthetics of having fun with guns.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I am entitled by right to own as many firearms as I want to, provided I am responsible for them and I am accountable for my actions.
Okay.
Bottom line.
Okay.
Bottom line. You can't say any more than that. I mean,
so
it is my right. It's my right.
And you're saying that's a right that's memorialized in the Second Amendment, right?
Yes. Yes.
And that's how they felt when they drafted the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's move on from that just for a minute now. When they first when they were fighting the revolution and everything, well, they didn't have a whole lot of long guns. I mean, those long guns didn't do a whole lot of good for them. They had them, but the British had more of them. That was never mind. I just was. Shays' Rebellion happened around then. They were talking about people having guns and rising up against the leadership of the country. It was
okay. What does that have to do with my right to have as many firearms as I want to have, as long as I am responsible and accountable for them?
Because
please tell me that.
When you draw the line on people being able to form an army or a militia. Not really a militia, because the militia would be the state, but a group of armed people.
Well, you know what? Right now, we have permitless carry in this state.
Yeah, and I oppose that. And I don't think you'll find that in the Constitution anyplace.
I mean, it's irrelevant whether or not you opposed it because it passed. So right here is a permit to carry, which I went ahead and got anyway. Licensed, fingerprinted, everything. I'm completely accountable for the actions of my firearms. They're in a secure place. That's it. There shall not be infringed. I don't see it. I don't see any other argument for it. I mean, it's as many as I want to own. Fuck, dude. If I want to own a tank, I can.
Well, so you'd say nuclear weapons too?
I'm sure there's some permitting involved.
Okay.
But...
I mean, I'm just trying to find out where the line is then, because I'm trying to find where it was that anybody was saying that it was okay to form an armed, a group, basically as a revolutionary group. And I that's not something I see there. And when we get to moving through time,
I can have a rocket launcher if I want to.
Anybody could. Drew, anybody could. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, and that's as long as they're accountable and they're responsible.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I believe in personal responsibility and accountability, which is something we lack in today's society. Anybody in the chat can agree with me on that. So,
okay. So
anybody anywhere, we lack accountability in today's society. Yes or no?
Oh, I don't agree with that. I think making a category like that, okay. I'd have to deal with certain people as not being accountable and other people who are.
You gonna make this about Trump?
Okay, wait a second. You're starting to want to pair off any kind of things that I can make as an attack for somebody who holds office.
Maybe trigger you a little bit.
I'm sorry?
You're good, counselor.
What?
Wait, did you see my shirt today?
Yeah, it's some kind of, it's like Ruger. Okay, so six shot revolver we had. We had a carbine that was a 22. It was a semi-auto. I get all that. Okay.
Did you enjoy
But
shooting? Did you
no,
ever go out and shoot? You didn't. You tell me you never went out and shot cans when you were a little kid.
I did. I don't think that's. I don't. Okay,
You
at
did?
that time, short period of time was kind of fun. Over time, no.
Okay,
It
so
wasn't
you're
that
telling
fun.
me. So you're telling me that I can't go shoot at paper targets and have just as much fun as you had when you were a child shooting at tin cans? Are you saying that's not possible? Are you saying that we're all wired exactly the same, where I can't get that same enjoyment that you got when you were a child?
I'm saying that put in the context of what your weapons are for. I lived on a farm. Doesn't make it right or wrong. My old man taught me how to shoot. I don't.
I taught my kids how to shoot too, and they're
Well,
both responsible gun owners.
I don't have a firearm here, and I will never own one. And we had guns all over the house. So, in looking at that, I think it was an irresponsible environment in terms of gun ownership. I would not own a gun again today. I will never own a gun. But when you go to, you're asking me if I was having fun. As a kid, I did a lot of things that were fun. There was a truncated time in which I stopped doing them. I haven't shot in years.
So does that mean that since you don't find it fun anymore, that other people can't?
No, you asked me if I had ever had that experience. And
But what I'm
enjoyed it.
saying, no, but answer the question, Mark. Just because you
No, you're
are not that you don't enjoy shooting guns now, does that mean because you don't as an adult enjoy shooting guns that I can't as an adult enjoy shooting guns?
no, that wasn't what I said at all. And no.
Okay,
And
so what you're saying, my pursuit of happiness. What if it makes me happy to shoot paper targets? Isn't that my right to pursue happiness?
No, it's not listed in the Constitution. That's not your right.
Okay, but it is to bear arms.
No, it's not. Militias.
Yes, it is.
Not individuals. It wasn't recognized as an individual right, Drew,
I mean,
until 1978 or 80. And that was when Warren Burger said they really pulled a fast one on you people. That aside, what you're saying is I feel that you shouldn't have that pleasure. I'm talking about something that has lethal force that can kill somebody. Even
like an automobile? Like an
Yes.
automobile?
Yes. Yes.
With licenses?
Licensing and insurance.
And insurance. And what happens if somebody
And
gets caught without insurance? What happens if somebody gets caught without insurance?
They
Do
can't.
they get in trouble? Are they held accountable? Are they held accountable, Mark?
Yes.
They're held accountable. There we
Yes.
go. Accountability. Thank you. Can we agree on that?
You don't have that in a firearm.
Yes,
No, you don't.
do.
No.
Yes, you do. Yes,
Drew?
there's accountability, brother.
No, it's a
There's
very
accountability.
important part of accountability. You're leaving people dead or injured and saying, hey, they can
Same
sue
as a
me.
car. Same as a car.
No.
Sue
If you've
me.
got underinsured or underinsured coverage on your car, it's required in all states, I think now, then you have accountability because everybody saw how unaccountable other people were. And people
Okay,
also understood that automobiles provide a valid function, although we should go mass transit a lot more, for moving things around.
Handguns and rifles provide a
Kill
valid
people
function, my
without
friend.
legitimate.
They sure
don't.
do.
No. Okay, well, let's get into that, Drew.
But that's not your place to decide.
Yes,
That's
it
not
is.
your place. It's my place.
No.
For me, it's my place to decide how many firearms I want to own legally and be responsible for them. It's
Okay,
not your place to. It's not your place to tell me.
Drew,
Not your
it
place.
is. Wait.
It's not.
May I continue, please? See,
Yeah.
the NRA did a good one. They stopped government and different universities and stuff from doing peer review studies. Oh, you're an assassin. They stopped them from doing peer review studies of gun violence as a health risk.
That was
And
wrong.
What, stopping them from studying
I
it?
agree. No, it was wrong to. It was wrong to stop them from doing the studies. Period.
Okay.
I agree with that. That was wrong.
Okay, then if what they were seeing in terms of the studies was that it is, if you look at cost benefit analysis, that it's far more dangerous to have a firearm in your home and the risk to you or a loved one than it is to not.
Okay.
Okay.
What's
So
that have to do with my right to own as many firearms as I want to own and be responsible and accountable for them? This is going to be a circular argument because the bottom line is it's my right to own as many firearms as I want to, as long as I am responsible for them. Period.
You've made that statement of your right based on nothing that's a reason for it. Okay. Because you said, well, I can.
There doesn't have to be a reason for it. It's the Second Amendment of the Constitution.
No, it doesn't. Okay, first of all, Drew, realize until the 70s and gun lobby really dumped a lot of money in, that wasn't the construction of the Second Amendment. It was viewed as being something because the militias, a well-armed militia being necessary for the freedom of society, the rights of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. It was not an individual right. And the constitutions of the individual colonies, as they came into the country, reflected that. So when you say, well, no, don't say it because it's my right. No, let's look at why it is people have guns. Now, if cost-benefit analysis, you check that off. See, because there's a thing about being able to defend yourself with a handgun. And,
yes.
Okay, because if you have a handgun in the home, how do you defend people who are going to try to break in?
Well, there's layered security, my friend. The first layer.
Wait, but you're going to shoot somebody if they're trying to break in, right?
If you would hear me out before you interrupted, I would let you know there's layered security, my friend. The first is my dog, Gus, that will alert me to anybody that's coming anywhere near my house. And most of the time, they don't even bother because they hear the dog barking. Should they choose to come into my house, chances are it would be dark. They would be hit with a flashlight with enough power to blind them if they looked into it. Secondly, after they were blinded, I would tell them to get the fuck out of my house before I blow their goddamn head off.
Okay.
And then if they choose to proceed any further, it's on them.
Okay, but so in terms of trying to stop people from breaking in your home, actually, whoever just posted that about Heller, like that kind of reinforces what I said. It wasn't recognized that until that time. All the rest of the time through our republic, it wasn't. So getting back to the point here, Drew, you have a deterrent effect. If you want people not to break into your home, do you want them to know that you've got a firearm, a handgun?
Excuse me, what? Now repeat that. What?
Do you want people to know you got a handgun so they won't break into your home?
Of course not. Of course not.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to know I have a handgun. I don't go out and broadcast, and I'm not an open carry person. I would prefer to concealed carry. I feel like that gives me more options, and I'm licensed for it. But no, I mean, yeah, definitely. I think that I think open carry is cool, concealed carry is cool. That's personal preference. That's personal preference. I got myself a little bit off here. You had an original question, and I apologize for getting off the rails. Can you repeat that?
Which question was it? Because we were back a little bit ago.
Yeah, the one you asked me before I started talking.
We get mixed up on that sometimes. Yeah. I was asking about how you would use a handgun. Would you blow somebody away trying to break into your house?
But right away. Not right away. I mean, if somebody was coming at me in my house, I mean, it's more of a deterrent, actually. I mean, if the dog. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It says, get the fuck out of my house before I shoot you.
Okay,
that's a deterrent. That's a deterrent. And I mean, if that's not enough, then that's not enough. But there's many things that'll happen before then. My dog might attack them, which is a very good possibility. So yeah, I mean, there has to be there's a bunch of steps that would come before actually shooting somebody. I mean, if it's
the thing though about having a deterrent effect, you're talking about it being something that would stop them from committing a crime. And normally on a burglary would be somebody breaking into the home. So the idea is deterring them, because I know very few burglars that I've read cases on that would break into a home and go, "Oh, you have a gun. I'm sorry, I'll leave." I mean, they normally, if they see somebody home, that's why companies sell all those mechanisms to turn lights on and off, and why people.
No, that's for when you're not home. That's for when.
Yeah,
you're
I
not
know
home.
that. I know that because people.
And that's
don't
what I
want
have
to
a
break.
dog. That's what I have a dog for.
Okay,
that's
Drew,
what I have a dog for.
My point is, normally people are going to do a break-in, and the overwhelming majority, okay, don't want to encounter people. All they want to do is smash, grab, and run. Okay, so if they see that lights are on, normally people will give wide berth to that. I mean, remember Home Alone 1? That's why Joe Pesci and his buddy Daniel Stern,
Daniel Elliott.
No, it was Daniel Stern, wasn't it? The guy wow.
Yes,
Anyways,
I know.
But they were wanting to break into homes where people weren't going to be there.
Yeah.
So that's
if people. I'm gonna interrupt you for a minute. I think I honestly think that the 2A talk has kind of run its course today, because we could just sit back and have circular arguments all day. Nothing that you say is going to convince me anything other than the fact of I don't have to repeat myself again, do I? And and anything that I say isn't going to convince you that it is my right. The only thing we have to go by is what the Supreme Court says, correct?
Actually, not anymore at this Supreme Court, but that's beside the point.
Come on, man. That's bullshit. You know it. They're just as legit. Yes. What? Yeah.
No,
I'm okay.
Sorry about that.
Speaking of which, let's bring on Johnny Suitcase to possibly wrap this up. Here we go. John, what a mess this guy down here has done, man. What a mess. Up there.
Not down there, up here.
Yeah, I moved you because it's been interesting to listen to the back and forth on this. And, I would say that there's a lot of points both ways on this. And I would refer to when people are unarmed, they are easy pickings. And I want to tell you an obscure story about the Mountain Meadow massacres that my lovely wife's great grandma was involved in. And that was 1857, when the richest wagon train was headed west through the Mormon country. And they had a 2 or 3 day siege. And you know how it ended? It ended when the wagon train gave up their arms, and then they murdered them. So, and I could even go to the next thing about the German conflict we had a few years back, where they told all the Jews they couldn't have their arms, and then they died in the gas chamber. So there's that argument. I get it. That's it. But I'm with you, Mark. I don't own a gun. My kids love to shoot. If I need a gun, I can go get one. They actually taught me how to shoot. They love doing it. But
I'll take you.
Yeah.
I'll take you to shoot anytime you want. I've made offers before.
Yeah, it is a circular argument for a lot of folks. And we've had some very, very awful things happen with people, either assassinations or mass shootings or whatever. So but it's the cost of freedom to be able to have things. And I know we have liberty, we have laws, and that.
Wait. But when I'm looking at the freedoms that people might say that they get from having firearms, especially handguns, and then I think about how many kids these days are learning how to do active shooter drills. Now, I thought it was somewhat traumatic when I was in second grade, and we had to train for nuclear crisis. And okay,
we had to get under our desk for the nuclear war. Remember that? Get under the desk. The nuke's coming.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't remember that because you weren't born yet, John.
I had to get under the desk because of the nuclear warning. Yeah, I'm that old.
That was 1962. And you know what John F. Kennedy did the afternoon before he said we were having an embargo of Cuba? Pierre Salinger is press aid out to buy 10 boxes of H. Upmann Petite Corona Cuban cigars because those were his favorite cigars, and we're having an embargo on Cuba.
Yeah, stock up, and I think it's still going on. If I'm not mistaken.
Actually, it is. You can get those. It's
Yeah, you know what, and you know, I just think that we have so many laws and rules and regulations and things on the thing. It's, you know, you could boil it down to, I know, Mark, you're not particularly a religious guy, but you know, if we could just boil it down to love your neighbor as you would yourself, we wouldn't have any problems. All right, we wouldn't have those, but we can't seem to get there from here. It's
if we wouldn't have any problems with what, because he was popping open a beer, I think.
okay. Well, it's.
I'm sorry, guys.
If we did the golden rule, love your neighbor as yourself, or even take it up a notch, love your neighbor better than yourself, there would be no one to be hateful.
Yeah, but see, that's common to nearly every religion, John, and predates Christianity.
What's that now?
The what we call the golden rule. Also, it's part of almost every religious belief that in many of which predate Christianity.
Oh yeah, I mean it's well, there's a beginning and an end. I mean, you know, if you want to go back, you know, Mosaic law, you know, you all the way back to the start. Adam and Eve were the start, the beginning.
Actually,
in the beginning, I think that's
Hinduism,
what it is, in the beginning. That's the thing. Now, very many people have claimed God. They've claimed Allah, God, you know, the whatever. They've claimed that. So, and that's almost the same argument we're having with the Second Amendment. You know, it's
Yeah. And I also wanted to point out something Tommy Ice in the chat said. John, is there any way you can pull that up? Tommy Ice, if you lose your right under the Second Amendment, if you lose your right under the Second Amendment, which one is next? The first? It's happening right now in the UK. He has a good point there. He has a good point. Yes, he does. What are you going to do? Ban knives next, Mark? Because that's what they did. That's what they did in the UK. They've banned knives now. So, I mean, you had these roaming bands of Muslim immigrants in the UK beating the hell out of people with bats because they banned knives. So are they going to ban bats next? Where does it stop, Mark? Where does it stop?
When we had gun control, before any of the 1970s cases started sliding it the other way, we were not losing our liberties because there are restrictions on guns. And in fact, when we'd gotten into this, I was going to talk about when people talk about trying to stop election fraud by having guns at the polls. It's what the Klan did in Indianapolis. Wait a minute. May I? They were called the Horse Thieves Detective Association. That was the enforcement arm of D.C. Stevenson's Klan in Indiana. And they were showing up.
When was this?
The 1922, 1924 elections.
That was over 100 years ago. They're not going to do that shit again, dude. Come on, man.
Okay, Drew, please. They're talking about doing that now, having people go to the polls with firearms. My point is that. Well, they are.
Okay.
When they would go to the polls, all they would do is seek to intimidate people. And at that time, there weren't that many black people in Indiana. It's like 4% of the population or less was black. They were looking for Southeastern European immigrants. Because those are the people who are coming in, they're saying stealing jobs from them. They're Roman Catholics, and so they drank more too. And they were trying to be
whoa, back up there, Chief. Just what are you saying? Are you saying that Roman Catholics drink a lot?
Traditionally, yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say, buddy?
Yeah. You ever been to an Irish wedding? You ever been to an Irish wake? You know what the difference is? One less drunk, okay? But I had you there. But that's the whole thing. When people talk about we got to stop election fraud, and they're talking about people going in with firearms, they can't stop them and ask for their credentials because they don't have that authority, but they got handguns. They got guns. And it's just to intimidate people. So I think there's much more of a threat on people having guns in polling places than there is on saying we have to put a limit on guns.
I don't necessarily. I wouldn't carry my gun into the polling place, but that's just me.
I wouldn't carry mine either. I don't.
What do you have, a muzzle loader from when you were a kid?
No.
A muzzle loader.
My old man had a 9mm llama next to his Lazy Boy. There was a 6-shot Ruger pistol, a Ned Buntline, I guess, on top of the refrigerator.
What caliber was the Ruger?
The Ruger was on the refrigerator. That's .22. The Luger he had was 9mm with matched parts, It was in a
Oh,
nightstand
nice.
next to the bed. Okay,
Did
and
you
it
have
had
any
the
wheel guns? You have any wheel guns?
I mean, wheel guns.
Yes, revolvers.
No, there was one. It was a 6-shot 22 Ruger Ned Buntline on top of the refrigerator, just in
That was
case anybody
probably a
broke
Ruger
in.
Wrangler.
Huh?
That was probably a Ruger Wrangler. They've made
don't
it for a
know.
long time.
But only
I
when
do.
I got
I do. I know firearms.
when I got to college, I understood that I was giving some burglar a choice other than eating my mother's cooking. We had a long gun under the couch in the living room. My brother had a long gun under his bed. There were about half a dozen long guns stacked in our stairwell. Okay, so I was around
Which
guns.
is your right. They had
No,
you guys
I
had
like
every
them
right
there.
to have all the firearms you want.
All right, let's go. Hey, I got a topic that might be interesting. This is the Southern Poverty Law Center. They've been recently in the news about some of their funding. I would like to hear what Mark thinks about that, since he was a lawyer at one time in history. It turns out that they were sort of funding these things, and I'll give you one example that comes to my mind when I saw this. Was, remember when we had about 20 Nazis marching downtown Indy, just out of the
psyop.
blue? They were just,
Psyop.
yeah, it seemed to me like that was there just to piss people off, not really it wasn't Nazis being Nazis. It was there to stir up.
Nazis being Nazis.
No,
That
they were
was
just actors.
strictly-
Actors.
Yeah,
They were just actors.
that's the MO of the Southern Poverty Law Center, because they really won't have anything to do. They have to justify their funding somehow.
Well,
Good
you act
grief.
like the
They might
government
have had a purpose back in the day, but they should
You know,
be
and
cut
John
off.
was asking me about that, and then I'm getting this stuff garbled coming back. So you're saying Southern Poverty Law Center was shown to have backed that group?
Well,
That's
they
the type
they
of
were
stuff they
shown
do.
to back groups like that, and I'm just saying it just seemed odd around that time. And then a few
It's
months
like-
later that comes out. It just, the whole thing seems so odd because they were just they marched a certain way. They didn't stop. They didn't have a
They
speaker. They just marched through.
It's kind of like
just being staged.
it's kind of like the firefighters who are arsonists, or the I could say something about the pastors, but never mind.
That's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, but I won't go there today, Mark. You can think whatever you want on that one, buddy. But yeah, I know it seems like that would be something they would do to justify the amount of federal money that they receive. See, oh look, there's Nazis over there. Oh my God, there's Nazi. Wasn't it amazing how their uniforms matched perfectly? Come on now. Most of anybody who's going to be a real Nazi, that's going to be an idiot like that, that's going to march, it's going to be some fat slob with wearing all black, coming out of their parents' basement with cat hair all over their stuff. So they're,
you're saying these people are coming out of the pants wearing second-rate Nazi things. I tell you that is not true. I'd have to see what the paperwork is on making those accusations. Get somebody law center.
We need to see how papers.
It goes back to Lenny Bruce did a bit about thank you, Mask Man. That the Lone Ranger had cleaned up all the bad stuff in the West, and he goes, so I'm going to have to go up and make trouble. And it's like, because the thank you, Mask Man is, I love hearing that. I can't hear it anymore, so I got to make trouble.
Well, I think there's some of that in the government. I mean, I think they really make a problem to solve a problem. I mean, I would use the gas going high. When Biden took office, gas went to $5. We didn't have a war to blame on. It just went to $5 because he cut a lot of leases. Well, then they fixed it, and then he's responsible for lowering the gas. Or let's take COVID, for instance. Well, Biden created the most jobs ever in the history of the world. Well, that's because they were all lost from COVID. And so and who caused that biggest problem? The COVID was, and that's a whole nother story.
I'd say, that is a whole different thing. I'd say with like old Trump fumbling on that stuff and being a dumbass really didn't help being president of the United States.
No, we got a bad start. On it.
I mean, Mark, you're going to take every advantage to bring Trump in at pretty much everything we talk about, aren't you?
It's all his
fault. Well, actually, there's a whole lot of advantages on that.
Okay, I know you are. I love you, though. You're so awesome. You're the best.
It's interesting having this dynamic on here tonight.
Yeah.
I'm honored that you asked me because I was going to produce, and Drew said, "Hey, come
Well,
on."
okay. No, because I was a little bit nervous about Mark and I being able to carry the entire show by ourselves.
Oh, you guys are doing just fine by yourself. I thought you might be
That
choking
pissed
each
me
other
off.
by the
Find
end.
out you were up in Indiana, John. That I had those people lined up with those, and they were going to deliver the thing. Looked like a pizza. You open it up, it'd
Blows
be
up.
very explosive. Yeah. And so you're up here in Indiana. Anybody watching your house down? No.
So Cassie's made we like to bring the viewers into this thing. We love the chat. Sometimes the chat gets more interesting than the show. I don't like that, but it happens.
The chat's very interesting right now.
She wants to talk about the Israeli funding by the U.S. And to get that started, I'll give you an example. So our treasurer, Daniel Elliott, here in Indiana, he has purchased about, I don't know, a lot of millions in bonds of Israel bonds. Now, if you're looking at this just from a fiduciary responsibility, it's one of the fourth biggest returns you can get on bonds. I mean, you're making bank on these bonds, but it has ruffled a lot of people's feathers. Say you're a free Palestine or Palestine, stop the Palestine genocide or that, you ain't going to be one of the happy campers. So I'll just throw that out there to the wolves, and you guys take it.
For you.
I'll take it first. First of all, I kind of do have a problem with that because the only reason Israel is able to turn a profit like that is because they don't fucking have to pay for their defense. We're giving them roughly four or so billion a year that we know of. God knows how much money we're sending them. Now we're merging our military with them. If they had to protect themselves, they wouldn't be able to give those kind of returns to Daniel Elliott. I think he's taking advantage of a bad situation. I mean, think about it. If they had to pay for their own defense, they had to pay for their own Golden Dome, they had to pay for all those, I'll say it, that they had to pay for their own damn genocide, then they wouldn't be able to turn a profit.
Well,
Sorry.
they buy a lot of they buy a lot of American. Well, not a lot. They buy
with our money.
They buy back from our companies that build these things, and it's like a big blender. They just keep blending the money. So, Mark, what's your thoughts on that and the Israel conflict type of thing? I mean, it's very controversial, and I actually have a family member that his I think his dad is Jordanian, his mom is Palestinian. So his name's Sammy. And we have some interesting conversations at Thanksgiving. So
well, here's the thing. The Israeli people, Jews, went through the Holocaust, and that is without doubt it occurred. When they had to go someplace after like 1,700 years of pogroms and discrimination and genocide, all they had, I mean, we even turned away, I think it was the USS St. Louis that had like 900 or 1,000 Jews on it, and they had escaped the Holocaust. We sent them right back, and most of them died. Here's the thing. They had to find some place. Then they committed wrongs against people as bad it's gotten as they suffered. The one time in the last 50 years or so that things have come to almost peace between both sides was when you had Menachem Begin, who had been a terrorist as the head of the Irgun, and Anwar Sadat, who had been a terrorist as head of the Muslim Brotherhood, and they sat down and they weren't going to sit there and accuse each other of anything. They're going to figure out tactically how they stop it. Now, what's going on right now is it's gotten even beyond that, where Netanyahu is just wanting to build condos and killing people there, and that's wrong. So if we're buying bonds, and the only thing that I have to say is, are they the fifth most profitable, John, or they have the fifth highest rating? Because
the fourth highest yield.
Okay, because that just, I don't care what the yield is. If you're providing them with support like that, that's wrong.
Yeah, and we're making money off of it. That's the bottom line, and I don't know. It's a lot of money. So and I guess it doesn't matter at that point. Drew, go ahead, Mr. Spot.
Well, I would also like to add to that what Mark was saying, that Well, frankly, how long has it been since they had elections in Israel? Because
A couple of years.
the reason
maybe last
I
year.
believe, and let me state that my opinions are strictly my own. My opinions are not those of the Mouthwash Network. But no, seriously, I mean, we all have different opinions, and I only speak for myself. Is that the reason why he keeps on doing this? Is because he wants to avoid elections. Because when he's not going to win an election, and he's got problems with corruption in Israel right now. So
He is
I think. Well, no, I agree with that. And I don't think the Israeli people really like him all that much either. They should have elections. I mean,
Well,
that's
yeah, and they've just recently he's been elected. I don't know how the terms are, how long they are, but let's go back to Clinton, Yasser Arafat, and they were trying to do the two-state solution, and it got very close. I see Mark. I know that turned the light bulb on there, and it got down to the point where they said, "Oh, we're going to give you all, but just the West Bank, all the stuff they basically asked for." And their answer came back. Now I'm paraphrasing. No, we want you dead.
No, that wasn't it. That wasn't what happened. What happened was Clinton was getting them close, and they was it Perez that was on the other side for Israel. They came to an agreement, and then Arafat came back and said, "Okay, but I want more." So he kept upping it, and when Clinton was leaving office, he said something to the effect in the official like goodbye Arafat. One thing I miss. He goes, "You son of a bitch," because he viewed Arafat as continually. That had nothing to do with that was the Palestinians or the Israelis. No, it was one asshole on one side of the negotiations, and he got really highly corrupt. He wanted everything coming into his pockets. So that was it wasn't so much that was the Palestinians saying it; it was Arafat.
So it was basically an ego. It was an ego thing, and he probably was pumped up because they. If you watched any of or you followed any of the Khomeini, 6-day ceremony, you can see how charged people are about that.
Saber rattling. Would that be saber rattling?
I don't know if it's I think it's more of defiance. I don't think it's.
I think that's the term that they're using for that, isn't it? Saber rattling.
Yeah, here's the thing you have to realize about Iran is they had a democratically elected government in '53 that we overthrew.
Okay, no, Thomas brought something in. Thomas brought something up here.
So they overthrew. We overthrew. The CIA overthrew their government because they were going to nationalize oil. They did anyway, and then the Shah got in and started. He was one of the key people in OPEC. So even then, the Shah got overthrown. Nobody had. I see it's root beer. Nobody had done anything violent yet. And then the United States let the Shah back in to be treated for cancer. Okay? They don't want to have the United States come in and help them on anything. And then on top of that, we've got when we were negotiating with them on release of the hostages, and Reagan's people did a backdoor discussion with Iran and said, hold off release of the hostages until we get in, and we'll give you a better deal. That's what he did. That was treason. It's called the October Surprise. Read up on it. That's what he did. So there is a whole bunch of wrong stuff coming from that.
Yeah, well, and I think that anytime we meddle in other people's business, I'm going to use Vietnam as a perfect example of.
Oh, wait, you always say I bring up Vietnam all the time, John.
Well, I'm trying to be a good guest on your show. I don't want to be stomple anybody's rights or anything like that. But I don't know why. I think every country needs a good old dose of mind your own business. I mean, we got Russia,
absolutely,
and to segue into the next section, because I think that horse is at least breathing really hard or barely breathing, ready to go. The Lindsey Graham thing. He goes to Ukraine and comes back and is dead 2 days later.
Can I go first?
Yeah, you could go first, Drew.
Okay, so I don't know. They're talking about some sort of a deep vein thrombosis that you can get from traveling. I've heard that. I've heard stroke, heart attack. But I mean, do they call a heart attack an illness? I mean, I don't.
It's a, they
I,
call heart disease a disease. So
so okay. Um, and again, I have my own theories, and anybody that knows me can probably tell you who I think did it. But I'm not going to go there. I
Sure.
mean, yeah, there's a time and a
I
place,
can put the
and
banner up for you.
no, that's
You
all
can
right.
I'll let you borrow that for the mouthwash show.
Yeah, right. No, thank you. But I mean, it's the one. Actually, let me say one thing about it though, and that's, I saw a 71-year-old man die, and I saw people celebrating, and it's just like, where have we come as a society where we're celebrating a human being dying? I mean, I don't know about you, but I know there's plenty of people out there that don't like me. And I
Really?
don't want to, yeah, really. But I don't want to, I mean, I just think it's wrong. Like, for instance, I don't agree with, I didn't agree with a lot of Biden's politics, but when the inevitable comes and Joe Biden passes away, I'm certainly not going to be celebrating because he has a son my age. So it's like, I'm. How could anybody celebrate that? I mean, I know Lindsay wasn't married and didn't have any children. Kind of suspicious, but
That's all from what I understand.
Hold on a second. Don't
No.
bring beards into this. Okay. So when I saw that clip of him speaking on Friday, he didn't have his usual I don't know what charm or energy or whatever. He looked a little
pep in
tired,
his
but
step.
that could have been from flying and all that, the time changes. It could have been from that. So I don't know. I mean, and it's politics is stressful. And Mark, I want to bring up an example of what Drew's talking about. You remember our friend Melissa Hubbard,
Yes.
and how quickly went to the airwaves and celebrated her. Basically, I call that dancing on someone's grave.
I really thought that was disgusting.
Yeah, and I think that so when Bob Kern died, I noticed he toned it down a little bit. So I think lesson learned on that. But I think that we just need to have some decorum, Mark, in this country. We just have
also that hit. I'm 71 years old. Okay,
yeah.
So people start going out there celebrating 71-year-old people dying. That hits a little bit close to home.
Yeah, that's personal. Hey, I'm up there too, so I feel like any day I could just you'll see, read the little paper. You could have a celebration on my grave when I croak.
Also, somebody flying that long of a flight at an advanced age, which I'm very young for my age, but if you don't get up and move around and stuff, you can suffer a whole bunch of things that are circulatory in nature.
That's true. That's true.
It could be something like that, but it just goes to show you that you just, every day, just count your day, that do what you can your day, whether that's Drew going out and buying another firearm or Mark going to a protest about a firearm. That's what I love about this country.
At this point, I'd rather buy a golf club, John. Oh,
yeah. Really.
Thank you. Y'all, I just needed to tell you about it. On Friday, I had the wonderful opportunity to play golf with Senator Mike Young. And I tell you what, we had a great time. He's a good guy. I mean, I had fun, and I was honored that he invited me to play. That was really cool. I played with his brother and another friend, and I tell you, the dynamics that you get when you're playing golf with a pair of brothers, the kind of crap that they give each other on the golf course is just amazing. Just absolutely amazing.
Did you do what I said about the multiple golf balls in the bag for water hazards? Never mind. I won't say anything.
They're not. They're more like water invitations. I don't like to use the word hazard. It hurts my feelings.
I'm being negative about it.
So Cassie Jackson wants to know who Mike Young is. Mike Young is our senator. He's not your senator. He's my senator here in District 35.
The best. He's the best. He really
and he is a sharp guy. He's I wouldn't say ultra conservative, but he's definitely in the conservative range. And I have seen
he'll talk to anybody.
And he works as hard as any senator I've seen down at the State House.
He's the best
that being
one.
said, sometimes he's 75. I think he's out of
Young.
touch. He's out of touch with the youth, and I know that he got into it with Rob Kendall on X, and it showed a little bit because you got to have some game to be on X. I don't have it. I know that, but I'm not trying to do it. But yeah, that was sort of interesting. So yeah, Cassie says that's all she needed to know. She don't like him. So, he's not afraid. He's not afraid of anybody.
No, and he was a really good. We didn't talk politics. Guess what we talked about? We talked about golf.
Yeah,
it was fun.
He likes golf.
Actually, I'm looking to start another podcast called Golfing with Politicians.
So I could get Sam Carmichael. You know, Sam Carmichael and Bobby Knight used to do a show, Golf the Right Way. I think it was back in the 80s, I believe. It was a while back, and we were actually playing behind them when they were shooting it at the Legends, and we kept hitting into them with our drives. And about the third time, Knight comes back there and just shoot us a new one. You MFers hit into us one more time. I'm going to stick this golf. You know, it was a classic Bobby Knight rant. I wish I would have had a cell phone back then because we would have had it on film and we could be playing that right now on this show and we'd be famous. But I don't have it because that was back in the day where you could get away with stuff like that and not be recorded. But anyway, you could get Sam's still alive. Sam's Martinsville Golf Course, owner of Martinsville Golf Course. Superb guy, great guy.
I mean, so I think I told you about the the content creator from Michigan that I'm going to go up to see. He is an amputee. I initially told you that his leg was missing from the knee down, but it's from right above the knee down. So he's working on the technology of getting some kind of a swiveled knee so where he can swing the golf club. But what he was doing
Go on, do that. I tried to do that already. Bastards.
Well, what he was does for a warm up is he'll stand on one leg and swing a golf club and try to hit the ball. So when I go up to Michigan to shoot content with him, that's going to be one of the things that we're videotaping is me with one leg. Like I'll have one leg, behind my back so I can't hold it up. Shooting it off of one leg. So the balance that this guy must have. The balance.
I mean, when you are like that, you learn. Like if you're blind, your ears, your sensories, and your hearing's better. So you adapt to different things. So Cassie said if we play again, she wants to drive the cart. That would be a distraction that no golfer would want to see. I'm sorry, Cassie, but that is something that I don't know if we could get through a round.
When you were talking a couple of minutes ago about Bobby Knight and everything, and okay, so I was reading Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 72 by Hunter S. Thompson, and he was talking about the 68 campaign, and they were leaving New Hampshire. Nixon was on his way to get a plane, and Nixon had like a half an hour off when they were in the car. And they said the president wants to talk about somebody about football, and nobody knows football except Thompson. He'd been a sports writer. And they said you can ride with him, and got to agree you won't talk about anything but football. And Thompson thought, oh shit, this is gonna be somebody who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Okay, fine, sure. He goes, Nixon knew football. And
he's a Michigan guy. Nixon like Michigan? Is that true? Michigan Wolverines? I don't know why. Did Nixon, was he a big Michigan Wolverine fan?
No, Nixon had gone to a small college in California, Whittier, but he had sent he knew about Miami players and everything. And so Thompson said something about this 1959 game, 58 game, and Nixon goes, oh, that was the Miami boy. There was and he goes, Nixon knew all these plays and stuff. And he said he almost seemed human for a minute. And that was in 68, coming out of New Hampshire. Everybody thought all the other candidates of the Republican Party were also Rands. They're waiting for Rockefeller to announce because they figured once Rockefeller was into the race, he was gonna get all the primaries. But what people didn't realize then was how even then the schedule for the primaries really predicated people getting in before the primaries start. which is nuts because they should just have 3 primary days, do a draw for the first of the 4-year cycles, and then you're just going to do it that way. And that way, otherwise you have just 1 day for the primaries. Because and it's not just all the money going out. We can do a different conversation about that, but all the damned ads. And I don't like the black and white like I'm doing tonight, where they're going, we're talking like this, and it's the opponent. And they go, you don't need that. That doesn't educate the voter on a single damn thing.
That's good. So I'm looking up what looks like Nixon liked to follow. We awarded a plaque to the University of Texas Longhorns after they won in 1969 over Arkansas.
Yeah, well, no, that was they had the fictional national championship that year. Texas was number 1, Arkansas was number 2. Texas won 15-14. That was when Darrell Royal was the coach, and that was a big.
Oh,
I mean, that was a
what? Yeah, that actually there was a movie when there was some movie that based on that era of football. Might have been in the Arkansas era or whatever. But my father-in-law is got a doctorate from Arkansas, and my wife is from Arkansas, so she knows a little bit about those things.
Is she? What part? What part of Arkansas?
She was at Arkadelphia, but they moved around. Her parents were educators, so they lived in East Texas for a while and Arkadelphia. Then she was in Little Rock. She was actually in Little Rock when Clinton was governor. So back in the
day. So you're in Indy right now, right?
I'm in Indy. Yes, she's actually in Texas visiting her aunt that had a stroke. She'll be back I got to go pick her up at the airport at 1 a.m. this evening. So can we keep the show going until 1 to keep me awake?
Didn't you just take her today? Or was that yesterday?
Yeah, it was just a quick flight. She's just gone for just to visit her aunt that had a stroke and having a wonderful time with her mom.
I used to go to school at a place called Subiaco Academy in Arkansas. And Subiaco is, do you know where Fort Smith, Arkansas is?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that Highway 40 or 40? Like
no, it's not 40. It's I don't know. I can't remember that one. But she's from the college that she went to was Ouachita Baptist, and then they had there was Harrison was right across the valley. So Ouachita Baptist was obviously it was a Christian church, and Harrison was the heathens. So they'd have a battle of the gorge every year for the stuff. So yeah, there's some wild stuff down there in Arkansas.
Tell me that was Catholics.
No, they weren't the Baptist. No, the Harrison was a secular. They weren't they were just a regular college, and they're still there today. They'll have the battle and all that. They're smaller colleges, but yeah, right Arkansas is not small. That college is really big.
Okay, so imagine, say, 50 miles east of Fort Smith, directly east. It's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, that's where Walmart is in Bentonville, Arkansas, which is northwest. And that's actually where her mom and dad live now and that's a big retirement area up there in that area. So we got some breaking news here from one of our fine listeners here, 6 p.m. Eastern time today. U.S. Central Command forces began launching more strikes against Iran. I think that they've it sounds like they've exhausted their diplomatic relations at this point. So anyway, we're going to keep you up to date.
I just want to point out one thing. I thought I've never seen saguaro cacti in Illinois before, so I know that there's a Peoria, Arizona. I'm just trying to figure out which one I'm in.
Well, you're in black and white, so it definitely could be Kansas, Toto. I mean,
Hey, don't say that. Have you ever been to Kansas?
You know what? I don't know. Yes, I have because I've driven across 70. But it's
that or like
and it's windy. I used to have a guy that lived here we rode bikes with, and if it was windy, in the springtime and we get wind here, he would always say, this is nothing compared to the wind out in Kansas. If he said that once, he did it 100 times. So, and my son actually went to a college out there in Kansas, and he would concur that it was nothing to do and windy. So
Also, North Dakota, if you want to see desolate, just nothing. North Dakota.
I tell you, north of where I live in Florida, it is freaking alligators and pythons. That's about it. It's we're bears.
I was in the Stone Mug in Broad Ripple one time, and there had been an air crash in the Everglades, and they said this reporter is going like, in this alligator infested swamp, and this regular in the Stone Mug goes, "That's not an alligator infested swamp. Those alligators live there." It's like,
yeah, he crashed your JetBlue plane in my swamp.
One more thing, I guess, guys. Did you notice there was a fire in Zionsville? The FBI is investigating it as a hate crime now.
Oh, it was a Jewish building, I guess. Or
I'd like to know what a Jewish building is.
Well, they call them temples or synagogues. No, I think
it wasn't a church. It wasn't a church.
That's why I say it was like an office building, or it was some kind of office.
It was vacant. It was a vacant. Vacant building that in the past has hosted an antique store. I'm not sure what else, but it was vacant at the time. The owner passed away, and Whitty was doing a bunch of research on this place. There's some funny stuff going on as far as like he was looking up the listing, stuff like that. But the FBI is investigating it as a hate crime, and I don't.
That's another thing that gets me on. I think all crime is a hate crime. I don't know why we have to put an extra something on it. I mean, to me, it just seems like we're putting ice on a cupcake.
There can be. I mean, even if you don't agree with the categories of the crimes.
I know, right? It's just too many categories. They just need to make them like this or that.
Crime is a crime.
Wait. If you put something on there that's an aggravator for a sentence because they do something like that, then that becomes a different story.
Yeah. That's a different story, but it doesn't change the fact that the crime is still the crime, and any differentiation could come in sentencing. That's all. I mean, and that would be the process. That would be the responsibility of the prosecutor. And we have such a great prosecutor in Marion County, don't we, John?
Oh yeah, he's all over it. All over it. I swear. Well, what's interesting, let's talk about that for real quick. And then I want to talk about one more thing. Let's wind this thing up because
yes, sir.
It's time. So back when Kerry, the prosecutor that passed away, Mark, it was Kerry, what's his face? But anyway, they had a caucus when he passed away. And there was McGuire and then there was Mears. Well, Hogsett was backing McGuire in this caucus, and then Mears won. Terry Curry. Yes, thank you, Drew. And so to me, I don't think there's any love lost. I've talked to a couple deputy prosecutors over there. I said, "When's the last time you've seen Hogsett?" And they said, "We never have. We've never seen him here." And I would think, it just at the time, it's right across the street. You could go there and talk to somebody, or at least poke your head in. So I'm wondering if this investigation might take place because of Mears and some political undertow here of, hey, we don't want Hogsett to run again. Let's make sure that we put him in some stuff here.
Where's Marion County Prosecutor's office now? Is it down there?
Same building.
I think it was across the street in the Gold Building maybe for a while there, but I know they've moved some stuff.
Well, then they're all the way down there. Unless there's a liquor store or a bar down there, they're going to be hard pressed to get.
I see what you're saying.
Joe's got a special one in his office.
So what do you think about that? I mean, what do you think about Hogsett? Because I think he's going to run again. I've talked to him a couple times, and he sure seems like a guy that's going to run another time.
If your wife divorces you right before the election day, and that's like your third or fourth wife, that's kind of telling you like where your best group is. I don't think he should run.
Still won. He's still won.
Yeah, I know, but that shows. I don't think that's going to be a really good choice for him. Of course, I don't live there anymore, so I really can't say that. But I'd say That'd be really
Larry thinks that Mears is going to run for mayor. I've heard that. I'm not positive about
I
that.
think so too.
He's going to do prosecutor again, or he's going to try.
well, Mears won 400 or 500, so why would he want to? I mean,
it'd be. I think the prosecutor gets paid more.
Related?
The
Is there
mayor
any there?
From-
Is Ryan Mears related to Rick Mears?
no,
No.
I was being an
sure?
asshole.
Are you sure
No,
about
they're
that?
not remotely related.
Yeah, but my favorite quote from Rick Mears, somebody asked him in a press conference, what's it like to drive the 500? He goes, imagine driving down your hallway in your house and turning left into the closet. It's like
Yeah,
200 miles an hour and turning
that
left.
is, and the race this year was quite spectacular. But
Oh, it was.
so let's just do this. Yes or no on Hogset running again? What do you think, Drew?
Yes.
What do you think,
I
Mark?
Yes.
I'd say no.
Okay.
Oh, what, can I,
Yeah.
I can say something about
Hey,
tips.
Larry's put John for mayor. No, sorry, dude. That ship has sailed. I cannot fix these roads. I cannot.
Indy reporter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mayor.
Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about, Drew, and this is going to hit home with you as a libertarian, and I know Larry,
Is it?
he's in the Libertarian Party.
Is it? We'll see. I mean, after last night, I don't know. You know, let's just see where everything goes. Last night was kind of moot, wasn't it?
Well, I did not get an opportunity to watch that.
And you won't, because it's been taken down for copyright reasons.
Okay, but in terms of that, the Republican Party rules prohibit someone from the party holding a position or an office in another political party. So
Okay.
he's a precinct committee person in a Republican Party.
So am I. So am
And he's
I.
the elected chair of. Can't do both, and he can get popped out of the Republican Party for that.
Yeah, well,
Right.
the thing is that Mark, they are not monitoring that at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey.
they're unless they need
Right.
votes, and then you're out.
We tried.
Yeah.
We tried. Whitmer paperwork was submitted to Natalie Goodwin.
Do tell.
Yeah, talk to Whitmer about it. Paperwork was submitted paperwork was submitted, and they don't have any record of it. They didn't.
Badges. We don't know fucking badges. Yeah, it's well, we're
But,
gonna see. So you're getting voted on the 15th.
What are they
right?
gonna do? What are they gonna do? I mean, yeah, the 15th, this Wednesday. 48th in College or something like that.
I gotta say. I mean, can I say something about
Put
Tim?
under it, Larry.
Oh,
Larry-
tips. We're gonna talk about the tips. This brings back old memories.
Okay, and so I'm over here in Illinois, and I get this card in the mail. Obviously, I'm not in Arizona. I am in Illinois, and it gave notice under the statute. They have it. Anybody who lives within 750 feet of a proposed TIF is entitled to have notice that it's going in.
Mm.
And if you have any questions, to go to City Hall, and which I'm not far from downtown. And so it's like I walk a few blocks down the hill, and I'm wearing my Brooks Brothers Seersucker suit. It's after Memorial Day and before Labor Day. And I'm sitting there, and the lady comes out and she goes, we can meet in the conference room. Fine. And I'm looking at this stuff, and I said, oh, okay. So I heard you telling somebody it doesn't raise taxes. Oh, it doesn't. Well, you know, it does eventually, because it's basically a bond issue with a promise that somebody else is going to pay, but you're going to have the bill as a taxpayer when it doesn't come due. And it was, they've made all these changes so that it's far worse than Indiana's TIF law, and Indiana's TIF law is bad enough. So I'm going to, yeah. So I'm going to, and I was trying to, and so I talked to somebody in Chicago who goes, you got to have somebody, do you have any organizations there that are working against it? Like, and I'm looking through, there's nobody opposing it. Now, where I live, I love my house, and I'm between, the Bluff is 2 blocks that way, and there's beautiful houses there. This house was built originally for workers, like in the early 20th centuries, Century because they were building the houses there. And then there are empty lots because that's part of Peoria that went through a lot of changes. When I moved in here, the lady across the street goes, "Are you our new tenant?" And I said, "I just bought the house." And she goes, "That's the last one." What? It's the last house of transient people. So I have roots here. And so it's been wonderful meeting all these people, but then I'm looking at the stuff that they're wanting to do on TIFs. And the problem with the TIFs here, you have to have a blighted area to qualify as a TIF. Every state has that requirement. Indiana does. But Illinois?
They don't pay attention to it, but they have it.
No, in Indiana, but you have to be blighted here, or your TIF is located contiguous to an area that is blighted.
Oh.
And I'm just sitting there going like, and we're going into a period when I don't think a year from now, regardless of what you think about the economy, is going to be a time in which you can really do like promotion of developing things for people with upper middle class incomes living in mixed retail residential places. So anyways, that's what I'm looking at.
What could go wrong, right? The best intentions.
Yeah.
What could go wrong? So,
they got a beautiful ballpark here.
well, hey, you got that going. That's always good. I know you like to go to the game and kick back, have a couple Bud Lights, and enjoy the afternoon. So Cassie's asking, who's Larry? Larry, I'm going to put him up here. He's a libertarian out in Greenfield, and I'm going to put him on the spot. So are you going to vote? He said you're going to be there. I don't know if you get a vote because you're not in Marion County, but are you going to support Drew and
Not going to vote.
Whitty?
Larry, you don't have to answer that online.
I'm making him answer it. I want to see where people are on this. I want to see.
Well, Larry is not one of the people that will be voting in this. Chances are, if you want my opinion on it, Marion County will win. Is there any real win? Because
there's not a win in this. This is
trying to do so much for the Libertarian Party. We're trying. We're trying to do so much for that party, and we've got these people that, frankly, some of them are communists, and
Andrew Horning left the party. That told me a lot.
Yeah, and
there's so many good libertarians out there that want to focus on the things that we do agree on. And as far as the libertarians that don't agree with the folks that I agree with, there's plenty of things that we do agree on that we can just push our differences aside and we can focus on the things that we actually agree upon, and we might be able to do something in Marion County. But
all I can tell you, Drew, is I saw some people down at the Tar and Feathers shop. They were loading up for Wednesday, getting their tar and feathers, and I think I saw a couple pitchforks thrown in there too. So
did you happen to see whether it was 2 sets of tar and 2 sets of feathers?
Yeah, there's plenty to go around. That's all I'm going to say. They were buying it in the bulk. The Costco.
One last thing before I forget, because I want to make sure because I've had so many different things happen to me since I moved here to Illinois. I bought a costume, and I'm trying to do an impression of Chief Justice Roberts of the Supreme Court. And I put it on my webpage. And it's,
I can see you. I'm sorry.
It's a different kind of approach to John Roberts. But it's on my Facebook page. I can try.
So where we can catch that blog that you do? You've been doing that blog for what, 6-8 years?
I've been doing that since 2010.
Substack.
16 years. You're just getting started. So, but
nice.
Yeah. So this is good. Cassie doesn't want to bring that up about she's in the chat there about Victoria Garza Williams' kids at school, pictures of them, which was not true. In fact, Cliff Macaroni had a cease and desist put on him because they spread a lie about Whitty showing her kids at Park Tudor, and he did nothing of the same. And it's funny how they could never have any evidence on that. So
yeah,
that was not very, very good. In fact, after I got swatted, this fine Senator Wilburn called me and apologized, which she gained some street cred from me for doing that because she didn't have to. She could have just let it roll. So
Yeah, but I heard there was going to be a comedy series started about like an urban lawyer who doubles as doing his own web page on behind the scenes stuff on politics. That's illiterate and can't write the things, and they keeps getting tossed out, and then he has to pay penalties and stuff.
So who are we talking about? I'm sorry, I was reading the comment.
I was referring. Well, you're talking about Meliopolygos has.
Oh yeah. Oh, that guy. Yeah. So yeah, he is. Let's put it this way, Mark. In court, these judges have had enough of him. I mean, they have literally had enough of him. I don't see him.
I was talking about a fictional character. I wasn't talking about anybody real. Hey.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, just so whatever.
He isn't. He is a fictional character.
Yeah, that fictional character's been neutered. So,
speaking of that fictional character, at this meeting on Wednesday, that fictional character might be there, and I believe that there's at least 1, 2, 3 other non-fictional characters that are going to be there at that same meeting.
This is the most excitement the libertarians have had since underwear was invented. I just made that up. I don't know. I mean, really, there's not been, they've just steadily lost traction, and it's going to be very interesting. And this might actually help with their ballot access, because even though Whitty made a comment about, I hope they lose that, it is a motivation for people to get off their ass. I'm just paraphrasing that. But
I know.
But still, it is going to motivate people. Like they told me when I first got into politics, people don't vote till they get mad. People don't act until they get mad. If they're happy, fat, dumb, and happy back here, they don't do anything. It's when they get mad. So this might help them. But you got Ballard. Ballard's on the ballot. He's going to take some of that stuff.
John, so John, I need your opinion here. All of the pundits do not think that Ballard is going to get 10%.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But there is a lot of independents that people discount in Indiana. That and I think there's some blue dog Democrats and there's some sensible Republicans that have had enough with the party. I don't know if I'm sensible, but I've definitely considered myself a Republican, and I didn't leave the Republican Party. It has left me. And I've tried to, Mark, you've all seen my efforts on trying to help and fix and do this and that.
I mean, I was doing something from the other side. I was trying to do something.
And they refuse to acknowledge, to listen, and they ignore. And that usually will catch up with people because you're not growing your party. They claim they have a big tent. It just doesn't have a door. If they claim that there's grassroots out there, but they've mowed the grass down so low that it's dead. So what they say and what their actions are, they do not match. And I think that's going to be costly. So how many of those voters are going to switch over to Ballard? Now, I don't think the Democrat bleed is going to be very bad, because I think Democrats in general are very loyal to their ticket. Now, there are some people, and I don't know how Cassie would feel about this, but
she's
Cassie
about
I don't know if she's a Bo supporter, or I'm fairly certain she probably was a Bly, and I think she's got some. I think she's a decent candidate. I do. And then you got of course you got Lori that's running with the Libertarians, and
Lori, because you know what, it is ballot access is important to me. It's important to me, and I'm going to say that a lot of these more left-leaning libertarians take that completely for granted, and they want to keep the party in their own little club where they know everybody and everybody agrees with everything, and you're never going to grow a party like that. And I don't think that Whitty went about it the right way. I don't think he should have said what he said, but I'm with him 100%.
I think the frustration shows that, hey, if ballot access is so important to you, why don't you get in it to win, not just to stay at 2%? that's my thing. It's like when and I'll give you an example. My first experience with the Libertarian Party, I went down and I was exploring running for mayor. And I remember there was a guy, McGuire, I can't remember his first name. He was in charge of the party. Mark Rutherford was involved, Danny Lundy. I met some people down there that were really based. But then Evan McMahon came along, and he was not accepting. He was, and a couple other people. There was one from Seymour that was bad. Basically called me a liar because they said, "Hey, John, why don't you get on our ticket?" And I thought about it, and I said, "No, I don't. That's not going to be a fit for me." And then they end up getting I can't remember the other guy's name, but they would say that, "Where'd everybody go?" It's like everybody's gone.
I'm in a beer.
Okay, good. It's not my tech blowing up here. So basically, they said I was a liar that nobody ever asked me to run. I'm like, why would I make that up? So that was my experience right out of the gate with the Libertarians about their inability to communicate between their people that are in charge of things, and the fact that they wouldn't that they just attacked me for what I thought was a very very petty reason, just because I didn't want to run with the Libertarian. They were, then you're out. And that's sort of what a narcissist does. If they don't agree with you, then they're going to pick sides and try to cut you out. And you're seeing that in this, Drew. You're seeing that with Whitty. They didn't have enough people to run anybody, and then Whitty gets in there, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, our hair's on fire because we were sleeping at the switch on that one. So
Yeah,
everything is like,
yeah.
It's a mess. It's a big old mess, as they say. So
Well, my Wi-Fi completely took a dump, so I had to drop a couple of devices off it, and it looks like I'm back and it's not lagging any. But
yeah, you've been fine so far, but yeah, it is good to either reboot your computer to start out the show.
Yeah.
On my end, I have a little bit more stuff because I have the actual studio here. So, but it's good because the studio drops me last. If everything goes down, you guys still keep going somehow. I don't know how that works, but you keep going, and I'm gone. I've been booted off the show for about 15 minutes before.
I've seen you get back on a cell phone.
Yeah,
like a weatherman.
Well, that was a
weatherman tornado.
I think that was down in Florida trying to get some stuff together. So I have a gaming computer down there, which is my own data center. I had to get rezoned for it. It's such a big ass computer.
Did you really?
Protesters at my house? No, I didn't have to, but it is a gaming computer, and that's what you need for this kind of stuff.
We just had fiber optic cable come in, and it was like, and the people who came in said, "We're doing this. Are you interested in?" And I went, I get rid of Xfinity, and they said, "Yeah." And that was like, and it's like a third of the price. But what was interesting was when I moved over here, I'd had Earthlink in Indianapolis. And I liked them. I mean, it was moderate cost, and they're pretty good, and they're really good on customer service. And it was like 300 Mbps, whatever. I get over here, and they had it, but it was 7. So I said,
7? Not 7?
Yeah.
7?
No, 7. And it was one of those things where you're going, who did you piss off? I mean, and they're apologetic about it. I said, well, I appreciate that, but I'll have to go to Xfinity then. And then when I told Xfinity I wanted to go with I got this fish and this newspaper wrapped up in this bulletproof vest. I have no idea. And then they were talking about a horse's head in my bed. I'm going,
I just want cable. I just want an internet. So I think Elon Musk is going to screw everything up with this. He's going to come up with something that's going to just make everything obsolete on the wiring and all that. I mean, I already got wires on my telephone lines out here that are obsolete, that they are too expensive to take down. They just leave them up. They don't maintain them. They fall down. It's technology is replacing itself at a rapid speed. I'll leave you this one, and then let's wrap this thing up.
Sounds good.
The biggest concern I have with data centers is what happens when we're able to do this stuff with a lot less area. And those data centers are just not really needed anymore. I mean, you think about it. We used to have, we started out with fax machines, and then we had, things change so fast.
It's all dead.
Yeah, I'm concerned that these data centers. I mean, they can be turned into more storage or whatever. We have a lot of warehouses. If you haven't looked around Indianapolis and in some of these areas, and if you're on your way down 65 in Kentucky, there is a big ass data center down there off to the right. It has its own power station, unmarked, but I know it's a data center because I can smell it. I can smell the data.
What about downtown having all the empty buildings?
Well, see, that's a whole nother show, Mark. That's a whole nother show. They're getting more empty.
It's no planning on what anybody's going to do. Because if you say, well, we need to plan, that's socialism. Well,
okay. I mean, urban planning, Ball State University, they have, their architectures, they do urban planning. They've done the Speedway. They've done some other things. But I remember the days, and you may not have been here back in the 70s. Downtown was a ghost town. LS Ayres had moved out. Blocks had moved out. My mom worked at American Fletcher Bank, all out. HUDNet came in and started giving incentives. And they remember Don't Ask and the sports bar, and it started hopping. But I think we're headed back that way.
When I got there in '80s, I started law school in May of '86, and I was living in the dorm over at IPY.
Oh, yeah, you were caught the Renaissance.
Yeah, so I remember walking to downtown from the dorm. I'm 31 years old, living in a dorm, and the canal was still filled with sludge and green algae. Nothing was, and I'm downtown at night wondering where the hell everybody is. And then I ended up at the Slippery Noodle, and there was an actor, this guy's a folk singer, and I knew him from Lafayette. And then that summer I became the house comic at Slippery Noodle. And I did that but at the beginning of law school, it was okay. Once law school really started, because you don't do that. But it was dead. It was dead. And then a couple of years ago, when I went downtown, it was enormously busy. I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. And then when I was working the elections a couple of years ago, when I was downtown, starting to die again because you pull out all.
It depends on what event's going on. I was down there for the bike race. They had the baseball game going, but we had somebody shot and killed in the parking garage by the baseball stadium the night before we went for our mouthwash thing. But I don't, other than the road sucking and me worried about having a flat tire on my bike, I didn't feel unsafe or anything. I think a lot of this stuff is off the beaten path and not that visible. But I think the issue is, and this is what I found out about moving down to Florida where I'm at. What's that mean? Time to go?
No, Larry. I'm sorry for interrupting there, but Larry was talking about the Triple X restaurant at Purdue.
Oh, that's on State. I lived right across the street from North Salisbury.
I lived on Salisbury too, just like on the same street as Triple X, just about maybe 4 or 5, 6 houses down. But Triple X, some of the best. I spent many a long nights there writing in a journal. And that was a wonderful time.
Your memoirs of Drew.
Okay. Can I do one last thing real quick?
Yeah. All right, let's wind it up. Mark's got the last word.
Yeah. So I'm there for a deposition. This was like, I don't know, 2007, 2008. I'm talking to this cop, and I said, well, I lived here, early 1980s. And up on North Salisbury, he goes, oh, you ever gone to the strip bar there? No. So where are you staying here overnight for a hotel? I said, Travelodge. He goes, that's where all the hookers go. Oh, wait a minute, what? And he goes, you didn't know about the hookers? I said, I was living in West Lafayette at Purdue University, 80 to 82. We didn't worry about that. That would be stupid. I mean, I was paying for something. I'm sorry. That showed some of my.
That was an excellent last word. By the way.
Just to go to that. When I lived right down.
I didn't hear
you. Your microphone's skipping.
Oh, that club. I used to go to that club.
The Triple X?
No, yes. The one down the hill. The OK Corral.
One down the hill.
I don't know nothing about them things. I never was a fan. I don't like window shopping. I want to go buy something and take it home. I don't want to go.
What they did there, John? You just missed that.
I know I saw that, but I'm just saying I don't want to do either one of those things because it doesn't look good on your political resume.
You got to be careful
that happened with some.
Well, you know what? I would really hope that they don't do that deep of a dive into my
I don't
never
think you got to
mind.
worry about that.
They will. You just made a statement on the show. We've got it all in your file there,
Lori
dude.
for Liberty. Vote
Glory
for
for liberty.
vote for.
All right, boys and girls. That we have come to the end of the program. Oh, look, I put the Chateau de Marcel studio up there. And well, we lost.
Block me
You're
out.
still I didn't block you out. You blocked yourself. You have self-induced blocking. So anyway, there you go. You're back. He's back. Anyway, it's been a pleasure being on your show, guys. Usually I'm vegging out.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on.
Well, you needed somebody to produce and all that. So just to remind everybody, Tuesday at 8, we got Witty Reviews, and then at 9, Mouthwash, and then our new show, Nicole in all caps. She's hit the ground running. Her first show was last Thursday at 7 p.m. So it'll be this Thursday at 7 p.m. We're building the network, building a little network. Ted Turner had to start out somewhere, right? So
thanks
for everybody watching. Catch our other shows, and we'll catch you next week. Brad will be back. You want to put up with me, and Drew and Mark will probably have a beer and talk about it. How's that?
Couple of beers. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
that's good. All right, over now.